Hi guys, from time to time, politicians will say the quiet part out loud. They will let slip what they truly believe. And this gives us an insight into what they're really about. Now, Ann Widdecombe appeared on a panel with Zack Polanski, the candidate to be leader of the Green Party, where she let slip some of her true beliefs when it came to people on benefits, and worse than that, how she forms policies based on that evidence. Have a listen to this.
The previous caller, I think, was making my point, actually, that people are struggling so much with long-term health conditions and disabled people who actually want to work, who want that support, but actually they can't get that support by magic. They need basic money, to cover things like, if they can't even dress themselves, to possibly have someone to be able to support them, to then even think about getting to work later. But the solution here cannot be to cut money away from people. And in terms of fraud, the data shows over and over again that the cases of people not legitimately claiming are so minor, compared to, by the way, government ministers, when we look at PPE contracts that have still not been tried and
very, very quickly in response.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that some people need it. That's why we've got the benefit. But equally, there is no doubt that there is a growing number of people who don't actually need it.
Where's your evidence from?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly where I get that evidence from in a minute, if you'll just let me finish.
Please.
So there is a growing number of people who are either working and claiming, or who are claiming when they don't really need it.
Well, he asked where the evidence is from.
And the evidence from that, the evidence for that, rather, is the number of cases that most people can point to that they know, where it's happening.
Anecdotes isn't evidence.
No, it's not just anecdotal, it's people actually knowing where this is going on. I've been a social security minister, and we relied heavily on what people told us, because
that's why we're in such a mess. If you as a minister were not looking at data,
actually told us more than the raw data.
This is quite extraordinary. So you're saying you made government policy based on what people told you, as opposed to the evidence of what was
if it's
happening.
going on, yes.
This is insane. This is literally insane. Ann Widdecombe, when she was a government minister, was basing policy on hearsay. This is basically what it is, hearsay. Well, somebody told me that my neighbour next door, he can probably work. I think he shouldn't be claiming benefits. So I'm going to put in a report to the government department saying that my neighbour is wrongfully claiming benefits, not actually understanding the situation of the neighbour. And the government based their policies on that. I can't comprehend, I can't even explain in words how idiotic that is. Basing government policy on hearsay. We've heard before how ministers or politicians would stand up in the House of Commons and talk about how people on benefits were gaming the system, and the evidence they would point to would be documentaries, TV shows like Benefit Street or something like that, which were designed for entertainment purposes, not to actually present evidence, present the facts. It was about amplifying situations, exaggerating situations. And it seems that Ann Widdecombe, when she was a government minister, was basing her policy making on hearsay, on what somebody believed about somebody else, not actually based on evidence, not based on facts, based on feelings. She's now a member of Reform UK. Now, she's not a member of Parliament, she's not a councillor, but she's an influential voice in Reform UK. Is this what Reform UK is going to do as well? Base policy on hearsay, on what somebody said about somebody else? Not actually on data, not on facts, not actually looking at what is the real situation on the ground, and then let's base our policy on that. No, let's base our policy, let's implement government policy based on what somebody thinks about somebody else. This is beyond insane. And it's right that Zack Polanski reacted in pretty much the same way as I did. No government minister should be doing anything like this. This is why you have a situation where so many people are not able to access the benefits they need, and many people are not claiming benefits out of this sort of stigma. Nobody should be stigmatized for claiming benefits. Once again, I need to correct myself. We should stop calling them benefits because they're entitlements. If you call them entitlements, it also takes away some of the stigma. There should be no stigma. But I'm flabbergasted, honestly. You have a former government minister telling people on live TV, yeah, we based our policies on hearsay. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.